Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And in this video, I am kind of celebrating my 200th video on YouTube by showing 10 categories of what I think makes a movie good. So tune in to hear that on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing well on this Sunday afternoon here for me. This is my 200th video that I've made for YouTube on my channel. So I thought I'd do something a little special. I want to do something a little different than the normal video I make. Something I've made up that I've wanted to do on the channel for a while. I thought this was a good time to do it on my 200th episode. I've really thought a lot about, why do I like a movie? What makes a movie good for me? And how come sometimes there's a movie that people really like that I don't like? And I've really thought about that, analyzed it in my brain, that we all have different reasons why we like to watch movies. And I just thought I'd go through my reasons why I like to watch a movie, or what makes a movie good for me. I come up with 10 categories that a movie has to pass, basically, to be a good movie. 10, of course, is just a good round number, but these are all, I think, really well kind of describe my personality and what I look for in a movie. So I was going to share that with you here. Yeah, it's weird. There's certain things that people will say, "Oh, I really love this movie," and I go, "Why do people love this movie? I just can't stand it." And I feel like there's something wrong with me, but I don't know. Evidently, we just, have totally different ideas on what we look for in a movie. Anyways, and so this is my 10 categories, and it's basically like, yeah, you have to pass this category. If there's one category that misses, then it's not going to be a good movie. Like, you have to hit all 10 categories for me to like the movie, I find. Even I find that some movies could be really good in the 9 categories, but then there's one category where they totally misstep, and I come away going, I really didn't like this movie. So it's interesting. For me, it has to kind of be like that, everything or nothing. But my first one I want to talk about is good acting. Movie needs to have good performances in it. I'm not saying it has to be Oscar-winning performances every time for a movie, but I think I do have to enjoy the performances overall, either the charisma of the characters, or whatever the material is, that they filled it out pretty good. Obviously, I love a movie when it has a really great performance, an Oscar-winning performance. Definitely heightens the movie for me, and I love those kind of movies as well. But yeah, it definitely, if you watch a movie and you can kind of go, "Oh man, the acting is terrible," like, you do come across that. A lot of times, kid actors, it's hard when you have a kid actor. Sometimes you go, "Man, this kid actor's not doing it." Like, I think it's, a lot of the early Star Wars movies, like Star Wars Episode 1, I think of, like, the acting just seems pretty terrible in that movie. Anyway, so I have to have good performances, or pretty good acting in it. Number 2 is directing, good direction. And it's hard when you talk about director, because directing a movie, there's so many different parts to being a good director. And if a movie is good, that means it was directed well. I mean, it all comes, director is really, really invaluable, important to a movie being good. I mean, director has everything to do with the way the movie looks, and also the performances and everything. He has to a lot of times, everything from the set design to the costuming and makeup, creature designs, maybe, depending on the movie. Also, he, of course, gets the actors to perform the way he wants them to. I think he also deals with where he puts the camera. He's a big deal, like, I want the camera here, and I want the shot to look this way. He also has to deal a lot with the editing afterwards, and also the screenplay. A lot of times he looks at the screenplay and might make changes to fit what he foresees in his mind, what he wants the movie to be. So director has so much to do with the movie being good. The thing that I think of when I see a movie and I think, wow, this was directed well, is really where the camera is put in scenes, or how it moves in a scene. Sometimes I'll notice that and I'll go, man, I love the way, I love the camera angle in this shot. I love this shot here. It's just beautiful. I think that must, I always think that's a good director. Or I love the way the camera moved from character to character. I don't know. There's stuff like that that I can see that I can go, I feel like the director did a really good job here. So that's what I mean by good directing. Bad directing to me, the most big example is action movies. They love to do quick edits and shaky cam. And to me, that's bad directing. When I watch an action movie and I can't tell what's going on, and it's just the cuts are too quick. I can't really tell, what the actor's doing in the action sequence. If it's them, if it's a stunt double. To me, that's bad direction, and the shaky cam especially. I hate that nowadays. I like a action scene where it's wide shot. You can see everybody in the scene and what they're doing, and you have the actual actors doing a lot of the action. That's good. I think that's a better direction, anyways, in my sense. But yeah. Number 3, I split screenplay. Obviously, screenplay is vastly important. And I kind of separated or kind of split up the screenplay to 2 different categories. One is story, which is my third thing I'm talking about. The overall story, the plot, the conflict, how it's resolved. I like a good story, a good premise that gets me hooked in to the movie to go, this is an interesting idea that I haven't thought of before, What I hate is when I watch it, a lot of times my biggest complaint is I watch a movie and I just think, wow, this seems like I've seen this movie before. This doesn't feel very original or very fresh. Feels like it's just been done a million times before. Like I always said, Avatar, I didn't like that much because I feel like we've delved with these issues in Pocahontas and stuff like that, Native American issues are kind of like what the blue people are and the blue aliens in the Avatar are. So I always felt like that's a very unoriginal idea, and I didn't quite get the hype for that movie because I just didn't care for the story at all. So that's important to have a good story, overall story that's interesting and fresh. Number 4 on my list kind of goes with that is actual dialogue. I love movies with great dialogue in between characters, and most memorable movies are ones where it has great lines that you just remember going, wow, that was a great line. You can't handle the truth. Life is like a box of chocolates. I love movies that have those kind of great lines, and when I look at some of my favorite movies, I think, man, I love those dialogue in between characters, and especially in comedies, it really helps have great funny dialogue in between characters. Obviously that makes it a good movie. But I don't know, there's certain movies I've seen where, yeah, you just definitely go, again, I'll go Star Wars again, Star Wars Episode 1. There's dialogue where you just go, oh, that's cringy dialogue. Like, that's the word I use most. Like, man, that was real cringy scene to watch. If it was awkward, especially Episode 2, with the love story of sand, I hate sand, that whole dialogue scene is terrible. So, yeah, definitely love a good dialogue. Makes a movie good. Number 5, and this is where it differentiates, I think, between me and other people that love movies, is number 5, I have to have likable characters. I have to really like the main character and really root for him to win, because the whole idea of the movie is that you have a protagonist, he's the good guy or the good girl of the film, and there's a conflict that he has to overcome, and I really want him to overcome it because I really like the character. That's very important for me to, at the end, really enjoy the ending, because that makes the ending so much better when you go, yes, I'm so happy for this character to win out against the antagonist, who's the bad guy or bad girl of the film. We want to see their downfall and see the good guy win. And this is where it differentiates, because I see so many movies now where at the end I'm like, man, I didn't like this movie because I just hated all the characters. Like the good character I'm supposed to root for, like I just never liked him. I never rooted for him. Didn't care if he won or not at the end. And that's very important for me to enjoy the movie. And I've seen so many people that love certain movies where it's like, man, the character is just a terrible character, but they absolutely love the fact that it's a terrible character. They like the fact that he's unlikable. And that kind of goes with this in my next category. But I think the difference between me and like a lot of serious moviegoers, cinephiles, is that they love a movie that's dark and gritty and realistic, I guess, in that sense, and isn't a happy movie. I guess I'll go to my next category as well. Number 6 on my list is a good ending. I love a happy ending. I have to feel happy at the end for me to like the movie. If I'm depressed at the end of the movie, then I'm like, why did I watch this movie? What was the point of this movie? I don't watch movies to get depressed. I watch movies to make me happy, to entertain me, bring joy in my life. That's why I love movies, is the joy that that brings me. And watching this fictional story, or even it's based on a true story, whatever, where the good guy comes out in the end. Because I love the idea of a good guy winning over the bad guy. And I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, I love these dark, gritty movies with not very good ending, or with a sad ending to it, or whatever, because that's real life. It represents real life, because in real life we don't have happy endings. We have sad, depressing endings to our lives. Life is depressing and sad, and characters aren't, of course, black and white. They're gray. They're in the gray area. Sometimes they do good things, sometimes they do bad things. It's complicated, I guess. And I'm like the exact opposite. Like, I watch movies because I want to watch somebody win. I want to see a good guy, good character that I really like, enjoy. I want to see them overcome and have a happy ending. Because I watch movies to get away from my life. My life can be sad and depressing at times. And so I go in to watch a movie to escape from my life, to escape from reality, to have my mind on something else. And to see someone, like I said, succeed and all that makes me happy, to think, oh man, like, I would love to also have a life that I feel, that I have success, and all that. Anyway, so to me, that I have the total opposite idea of movies, is that, I want to be happy when I'm watching a movie. I don't want to be sad and depressed. And I want to love the characters, and I want to love the ending and feel very satisfied and emotionally and all that. I feel like that's very important. I've seen a lot of movies where it does pretty good, and then the ending, they have just a very bad ending to the movie, and a bad ending can totally ruin a movie. Like I said, you can do everything good. You don't stick the ending. Ending is so important to stick. If you don't stick that ending, it ruins the whole movie for me. And the thing that ruins me mostly, if I'm watching a movie and at the end everybody like dies or something like that. I've seen several movies like that. Don't want to spoil any specific movie, but just say there are definitely been movies where I'm following the main character and then they die, and I'm like, why did I care about this character if he's going to die? Like, that's not the point of watching the movie. I want to see him live. I want to see them live. I want to see them be live happily ever after. I want that, in this movie. And so I hate it when characters die at the end. It just kind of ruins everything. That's part of the movie. The movie has to have a point. And if it just ends all of a sudden and it doesn't seem like anything was resolved, then it's like there was no point in me watching this movie. I just wasted my time with these characters and this movie. And like I said, I like likable characters. Like, I think of It's a Wonderful Life, George Bailey, or Rocky Balboa, even Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I really like Willy Wonka. There's characters that are Dean Deadpool. I love Deadpool. And those are some examples of some fun characters. But also, what makes a character likable to me is that they are good people, and they are kind to others. They help others out. They are good family men or women. They are good spouse. They're good parents. That makes me like a character a lot. That they are for the moral good, against moral evil, and fight evil, and staying up to evil. That's the characters that I like. Those are characters that I want to root for, But and sometimes you get a character who's not very good at the beginning, but they have a character arc where they are good at the end, like How the Grinch Stole Christmas or Scrooge in Christmas Story. Like, I love those type of stories where a character goes from being a jerk to being a good person at the end, Definitely love that change. That redemption storyline is definitely very good. I hate stories where the character is a jerk and does terrible things, and even though he's a good guy, it's like the bad guy is just a little bit worse, but the good guy is not really that good. And you watch a whole thing and you just go, like, I didn't care. Like, an example I think is The Hateful Eight. I think The Hateful Eight, like, I hated all the characters. Like, they all did terrible things. Raging Bull is another example. People love Raging Bull. I hate Raging Bull because the main character you follow throughout, he's got anger issues, but he's a wife beater, and he beats his brother almost to death, and he's just a jealous rage person, and he does other horrible things, and at the end, like, he's not in a good place, but at the end I'm like, yeah, I don't care about this character because I hate him throughout the thing. I hate any character that, hurts women, hurts children. I just can't get along with any of those kind of characters. So I hate when movies have that as their main character. Number 7 on my list is what I call, you have to be good in the genre that you're in. And what I mean by that is, if you're a comedy, you need to be funny. So many times I watch a comedy, and if I don't laugh, you have to laugh almost every couple minutes or every couple seconds, it feels like. And if you don't, then yeah, it didn't work. It's like, why wasn't it good? It wasn't funny. It was supposed to be funny. It didn't work. That's very subjective. Sometimes somebody can watch a movie and think it's really funny, and I can watch it and go, I didn't get it. So it's a hit or miss, depending on depending on what I like. I think of, like, there's this movie called Holmes and Watson with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. And I love Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, very funny actors. That movie had no laughs. Like, I didn't laugh one time during that movie. And that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. One of the worst movie experiences, where I wanted to walk out. After about 15 minutes, I was like, this is not funny. I've sat here for 15 minutes and haven't laughed. Like, this is not good, a good sign. If you can't catch someone in the first 15 minutes, then you're not a good movie a lot of times. But yeah, if you're an action movie, you need to have exciting action moments that excite me. If you're supposed to be a thriller, then you need to thrill me or make my heart beat a little faster at times. If you're supposed to be dramatic, you need to make me feel something, anger, sadness, whatever the happiness, it needs to make me somewhat emotional. If you're a musical, the music needs to be good. The songs and the need to be good. I've seen some where I'm like, yeah, the music just didn't get me, and you have to have good music if you're a musical. That could be one that can kill it. I don't know if I'm beginning. If it's an animation movie, usually it has to be funny, memorable character. Sometimes has music in it. Anyway, so whatever the genre that it's in, it needs to be good in whatever genre. It needs to accomplish what it needs to be in that genre that it's in. Anyway, so that's what I call that. Number 7. Number 8, it has to be well paced. The thing that kills a movie more than anything is if it's too long and it's boring. That's probably my biggest criticism. If I don't like a movie, at the end I'll say, man, the movie just felt too long. And so many movies feel too long. That's a very common thing. A lot of times, if it's over 2 hours long, a lot of times I go, gosh, I wish they would have cut 20 minutes from this movie, 30 minutes. I think I would like the movie a lot better. I felt like there's just dragged on too long. Scenes were too slow. I hate a movie that's just slow moving. Pace means every scene you are either furthering the plot or developing a character, or you're doing something entertaining. If it's a comedy, you're doing something funny. If it's action sequence, you have a great action moment that's exciting to watch. You need to be doing something to keep my interest. But if you have a scene where characters are sitting around not doing anything, or we're watching them maybe walk from here to there and nothing's happening, it's silent, I hate those kind of scenes. It totally ruins a movie. I hate those kind of movies. And too many times you watch a movie that's 2.5 hours long, it's like, man, it's just way too long. It's not very many movies that can keep your interest for 2.5 hours. I'm much happier when I see a movie that's an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. I go, okay, good, this isn't too long. It looks like they probably paced it well. And yeah, it's just one of those things. Again, I think like Nomadland was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, because nothing happens throughout the movie. It's just like people are just sitting around doing nothing. And it's like, I need something to happen, I need this movie to move. I need something to happen, something to move along. I think of movies like Toy Story or Back to the Future, are really well-paced movies that just keep moving from one scene to another, and each scene is interesting and furthers along the movie. Like I said, those are some of the best-paced movies, I think. And again, it just means I was never bored. I was watching the movie and I just never felt bored at all. And at the end, I was like, wow, it's over. Like, I almost could have watched more. That's a good movie. Bad movie is I'm bored to tears and nothing's happening. And a lot of times I'm watching Netflix or something like that, and if it gets boring, I'll fast forward it. Like, sometimes I won't watch a movie all the way through like that. I'll just be like, okay, I'm just gonna fast forward it, like, 5 or 10 minutes later, and hopefully something's happening in this next scene. So yeah, so you have to have a good pace to the movie. Now number 9, number 10 are kind of more interesting categories I added on that are just like, it's either this or not. It's a pass or fail kind of category. And number 9 is a movie can't be offensive towards me. And most offensive to me is if they do something or say something, or the movie's kind of something offensive towards my religious beliefs or my political beliefs, I would say. And every once in a while I'll see a movie and I just go, oh man, like it makes me angry, because I'm like, man, they're just making fun of me, you know, and so I don't want to be made fun of when I'm watching a movie. So yeah, there have been cases like that where I watch and I say, I just can't watch anymore. I have to kind of quit the movie basically because it's just too offensive towards me. And that's just me. Of course, it's not gonna be offensive to everybody. That's just specifically, I have certain belief systems that I don't want to be made fun of, that I find kind of sacred towards me, or to, you know, what I believe. Number 10, the last category, kind of similar to number 9, but this is a movie disturbing. They're disturbing images. I don't like movies that have disturbing scenes or images, and that kind of ruins the movie for me, even if the movie is very well intentioned. Best examples are Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List. Extremely well-made movies, important subject matters, but man, there's so many disturbing scenes of people, of course, getting killed, and sometimes in very disturbing ways that, you know, linger on in my mind and, you know, give me nightmares. And I just can't watch those movies again. Good movies in some sense, but in another sense, they'll never make a top 100 list or any kind of list for me, just because I just can't watch those movies because of that subject matter. Prison movies a lot of times are disturbing movies. I don't usually like movies set in prison. Like Shawshank Redemption, I understand it's a very well-made movie. People love that movie. I just find some of the you know, prison rape scenes just a little too disturbing for me, and some of the violence in there. And there have been some movies that are very violent that I found very disturbing. I like violence, but sometimes you can get a little too violent for me. And I have a line that, you know, you cross, I can't enjoy the movie because I'm grossed out. I don't want to be grossed out, and I don't want to have nightmares. That's why I don't watch horror movies. I'm not a fan of horror movie genre, because the whole idea behind horror movies is kind of killing people in very disturbing ways, very violent ways, to shock the audience. Like, I don't want to be shocked. That's not my ideal of what a good movie is. Some people love horror movies, so this is for them. They love disturbing images. I personally just don't want to have disturbing images in my brain. I don't want to be grossed out, you know. I don't want to, you know, yeah, I don't want that in my head, you know. So yeah, so if there's disturbing images, that'll kill a movie for me. I like movies that are not disturbing. Anyway, so that's my 10 categories. Yeah, so hopefully that, you know, described me and my personality a little bit and what I enjoy about watching movies and what makes a good movie. Feel free to comment. What do you think? Do these make sense to you? Or are these some of the things that you think about when you watch a movie, or some things that you disagree with? You know, feel free to comment what you think about my 10 categories of what makes a good movie. And just thank you to everybody watching this. Thank you to everybody who liked the video. Thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a good day.